What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna keep the intro short. Please like, subscribe, comment, and that's it. Does anyone do the bell? Forget it. I'm keeping the intro short because I think they've been way too long. So anyway, I want to just get to the heart of the matter, what I actually want to talk about. Before I do that, very important. Okay, now I'm ready. And no, I'm not going to spill it on my sheets. This is a quote I really like, and I'm going to misquote it because that's what I do. But you can't create a solution to the level at which the problem was created. Okay? And Einstein said that. Maybe other people said it too. I said it. I just said it. People get this and they're like, yeah. But no. You don't understand. That's what everyone is doing constantly. They're creating solutions at the level of which the problem was created. And so what that actually does is it just creates more of the problem because they're keeping their energy the same. They're keeping their mindset the same. And then going about patching it up, solving it. And what they're just doing is creating the same thing in a different form. The only way to actually, let's change the word solve. The only way to actually transmute, transcend, transform, go above, go beyond is you actually have to come at it from a completely different energy, a completely different mindset, as if you're a different person. You have to be a different person solving that problem. But this isn't really what is put out there in terms of, how do I want to say it? So there's a kind of myth out there that we're all very fond of, and I think people misunderstand the myth. I'm sure actually it's true, but we misunderstand it. At some point I should do a video about hero's journey because I love Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey. But I think there's a very crucial thing that we miss in the hero's journey. And that's the death of the self and the confrontation of the self. And that's actually the thing. So maybe I will go into this. Okay, so a hero's journey, for those of you who don't know, classic example is Star Wars. Most people know that. And it pretty much follows the hero's journey exactly. Now I'm going to show you all that I don't really know Star Wars that much, but we'll see how much I know. Okay, so Star Wars, you have Luke. And usually you start off with the ordinary world. Luke is living. Where does he live? I know it's a desert planet. All the guys have just left. They've deserted me. All of the male watchers have it's crickets now. What is it? Okay. I don't know. The Weird Al song will come to me and then I'll figure it out. Tatooine. Whoa, I just spat that. Tatooine, that's where he lives, right? Right? Okay, anyway, so Luke is in the ordinary world, living his life. And then there's an inciting incident and he has to leave that ordinary world and go off into the unknown. So that's the premise of every story. There's normal and then something happens and now we go off into the unknown. Okay, and then in the unknown, there's various challenges. Okay, and every challenge is testing the hero. And through the test of the hero upgrades. So think of video games, you get a level up. You get, you fight those big boss battles and suddenly you get all these experience points and you're yes, level ups all around, all my team. And everyone's twirling and dancing because now they're level 36 or whatever. And they get magic potions and weapons. And anyway, so that's the heart of that's the middle of the story, all those challenges and all those upgrades. But then right before the climax, okay, so there's going to be a little bit I'm not always certain what falls where. But this is the important part, okay? And maybe you have to go through all those challenges. So like all those challenges are very much like based on who you were before, really, right? So you're like working with yourself and you're improving yourself. Working with yourself and improving yourself. But you're still very much yourself. You know, you're just like a shinier, better, more muscular version of yourself. Okay. But then right around the climax, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure if this falls before the climax or after the climax. Usually there's like a very exciting incident. And then in some way, the hero, I think it's like the climax. I think it's the climax and then the hero has to die. Okay. This is the important part. The hero has to die. So I think in Star Wars, this is when he loses his arm. He dies. Or is it when he sees his father? And so in that way, like his sense of self dies, right? When he discovers that Darth Vader is his father. Oh my God, biggest spoiler ever. I'm so sorry if any of you watching this have not seen Star Wars. Darth Vader is his father. Yeah, I know. Shocker. Shocker. So anyway, Luke dies. And this is the point where you're like, oh, but all those challenges, all those tests, all those things that we did to improve ourselves, we can't die now. And I think this can be combined. Often also you'll have like a confrontation of the self. And so there can be like a death. There can be like a confrontation with the self. And then the character dies or you can die and then like there be a confrontation of the self. For some reason, I think of Zelda. You know what I'm talking about? Like in Ocarina of Time, when I'm obviously such a video game nerd. And he's like in this like pool area region. What world is it even? I think it's Gandorf's castle. And there's this marshy wetland where he's fighting a shadow self. Often you have this in video games. And so you actually have to kill yourself. So sometimes the confrontation of self also results in the death of the self, right? But this is super crucial. This is actually the most important thing. The fact is all those tests, all of those tests were just a lead up to you finally killing off yourself, to being strong enough to kill off yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like that's actually what the big battle is to like overcome yourself and to annihilate that person so that then you can step into this new person that is actually who you need to be in order to finally win the game. Okay? And then finally defeat the Death Star or whatever because like Luke, who he was even through all those challenges is still Luke. And he has to become someone else. And that's life, baby. But it is like you think you're the same person, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, I really am a completely different person. But the thing is too, like we're constantly different people. In different stages of our lives, we are different people. And it's only when we become different people that actually a new phase of our lives gets to emerge. And that's really the only place that you can actually create from. So those like big decisions, and everyone has done this. Everyone has done this kind of thing where they're like, you know what? No more. Usually it's a like, no more, no. And it's, I can't exactly say what causes it because it does seem a bit like sometimes you think you're doing that. Sometimes you're like, no, this is the last cookie. And then it's not the last cookie. So I don't know always what causes like that decision to actually be a decision that you don't go back from. But everyone has done this at some point in their lives where they're like, no, we're different now. We're different now. And the thing is, you are not in that moment adding onto yourself. You are like killing off the self that has been doing whatever it is that you were doing, and then therefore like creating a new self that does something completely different. That's actually how it works. And too often what people try to do is they try to just be better. So they'll be like, okay, I'm a lazy slob. I'm sorry. I hate lazy. I hate the insult lazy because I don't actually think anyone's lazy. I think just some people are like low energy. Okay, so let's say I'm a low energy gal. God, my examples are okay, whatever. So I'm low energy and I'm going to take my low energy self and go out for runs. Okay. And so often we hold on to like that identity while we're trying to do this new thing. And really the basis for doing the new thing is because of the old thing. So it's like, right, I'm low energy. I really don't like being low energy, so I'm going to go out for a run. And maybe through the running, I will not be that low energy person anymore. And it doesn't work like that. Like, you never get to have that triumph over the self. You never get to triumph over yourself. Let's just put it that way. You never get to like squash yourself because you're keeping that self alive through the whole thing. Because you're just actually trying to escape something. And so that something is inherent to the thing you're doing. If it weren't there, you wouldn't be doing it. So you wouldn't be going out on runs if you weren't low energy. I guess lazy does work better, right? So you like need that thing as motivation for doing the run. But because that is like built into the system, you never actually get to like let go of that low energy person. That's like a part of you now that you always need to go out for runs. And what we actually have to do is just realize that like that in this moment, you are anything. You are anything. And so you have to put that little self to bed. You have to say, okay, I was low energy. And now I'm just going to pick again. And it's not going to be a choice based on what the past was. That's really important. Like, it's not going to be an overcoming of the past. Because if you do that, you just keep the past alive. No, you're just going to pick again, like randomly, like a card from a deck. Just, I want something new. I want something new, and I only want the new thing because I want the new thing. I only want the new thing because that sounds amazing and that inspires me. Not because if I am this, then maybe I won't be such a You got it. And this is really hard, at least at first. And I think the thing is, you have to actually become really familiar with that old self, like really, really familiar. You actually have to do what is counterintuitive, which is like actually become conscious of it. Actually like bring it up so you can look at it as like a full dimensional thing that you can, let's pretend it's a diamond. It's like, yeah, you gotta like put it on there and you gotta get the little spyglass and you have to look at every single little facet. So you know it so well, so it can't go undetected. And so you can finally see it as something outside of yourself. If it's observable, it means it's not you. That's like how you know anything isn't you. We create that separation. So you create the separation by actually observing it and looking at it and discovering it. So you have to go like in depth with it, like really get to meet it. And then somehow it's like, because you've given it, I don't exactly know how it works, but by finally like seeing it, by finally facing it and seeing it, then you get to create something from nothing. And then your life changes. And then you change. You change. But also, as that new person, you have to stand in that kind of empty space. And it's going to be a little bit wobbly at first. It's going to be a little bit wobbly because there's like, there's empty space all around you. And that's a good thing. That's actually what's necessary for this new person to emerge. So it's going to be like really tempting to be like, no, I need my walking stick. And you're going to reach back to like that excuse or that way of thinking or that way of feeling, because it feels a little scary to be like out here in nothing, you know? But you have to trust that like when there's a vacuum, new things will come in or it will be filled. And so instead of you trying to control the filling of it and fill it with things that are familiar, you have to just continue being this new person and let new things fill in on their own by being this new person. Okay, I've run a little bit over. I wanted to keep this short, but I think that was important to talk about. And I think it was important. Was it important? I also want to do like a more thorough video on the hero's journey, but maybe I'll actually brush up on my Star Wars before I venture into that. Okay, I love you, and be well, and be safe, and yeah, that's about it. Bye.